Well, hey, Emma Rose, what are you doing?
I'm holding the baby down here because mommy needs some time.
She does.
Yep.
Okay. Now, baby. Well, hey, tonight, we're planting onions. Ailsa Craig onions to be exact. And what's the back of that packaging say? How big can they get?
It says no. Sayla no. Um it can get up to 5 pounds.
Up to 5 pounds a piece. Yeah, that's a big onion, isn't it?
And that's pretty common,
Yeah.
it says.
So we'll see how we do. So if you're going to grow onions, first thing you're going to need is something to grow them in. So we've got a little tray here, a 1020 tray. You can use whatever, but this works pretty good. And then you're going to need some growing mix, whether it be coconut fiber,
Yeah.
peat moss, phlegm moss, something to grow them in a soilless medium, because you want something that's nice and loose, and you want something that's free of contaminants that could be found in the soil that might stunt the growth of your seedlings. So
Yeah.
we've got coconut fiber. You know how this works?
It expands when you put water on it.
Yeah.
Like those little kits that you get, but
You know how
it's a
many
brick.
pounds this will make?
Maybe 10.
Ooh, close. Up to 8 pounds. Anyway, we've got a little 5-gallon bucket. Throw your brick in there, add about a gallon of warm water a little bit at a time. You break it up, and then next thing you know, you end up with a nice growing mix. So once you've done that, you got your growing mix, you got your tray. You're going to fill your tray with growing mix. You're going to level it out real good. You're going to moisten it down if it's not moist already. Then you're going to make your rows. What's this?
That's a little giant clip.
It's a giant clip, utility clip that I found in the basement. Anyway, it works pretty good. Just go down here, make where I'm going to have my rows, and then just finish them out. How deep do you want to make the rows?
Maybe like a fourth of an inch.
Yeah, about a quarter inch, eighth of an inch. You don't want to make them too deep. Why not?
Because then when the plant actually starts sprouting, it'll have to grow and grow and grow. And by the time you start getting a small onion, it's probably only like that tall.
Yeah, that, or it won't even reach the surface. It will run out of gas and die. So we just want to make just a little indentation so we can drop our seeds in there. Again, it's nice and moist. We've made our indentation. We drop our seeds in there. And I've planted them pretty thick, haven't I?
Yeah.
Why did I do that, you think?
Well, maybe because if some of them are bad seeds and they don't sprout, then you have plenty of them.
That's right, yeah. Not all of them are going to germinate or grow. Only about 80-90% are, if these are real good seeds. The rest are either not going to sprout, or if they do sprout, they're going to be deformed, or they're going to have some problem. They're not going to grow right.
You'll get sick
And die. So we've got it pretty thickly planted, or planted pretty thick. Next thing we're going to do is going to add some more of your growing mix on top. You just want to barely cover the seeds, just enough to cover them so that they don't have to work very hard to reach the surface when they sprout. You're going to wet it down again. So you start with kind of a wet mix. You add your seeds, you wet it down again, then you're going to add your covering, you're going to wet that down. The whole point, why are we making it nice and moist?
Well, so we don't have to water it as much and it'll get a good start.
Yeah, and it's to break down the seed coat. Each of these little seeds, or any seed that you're dealing with, has a seed coat that protects it or keeps it from germinating or growing. We want to help break that down because that's a signal to the seed to start growing when the seed coat breaks down, to allow moisture into it so it starts everything. So we want to create those conditions. Once it's nice and moist, everything's packed down and everything's good to go, we add the top to our tray. Once the tray is covered, we're going to put it under the grow lights. And then periodically we're going to check it, make sure it's moist and everything. Mist it if we have to, keep it moist. But in about a week, we ought to see some seedlings, right? In about 2 weeks, we ought to see some shoots or the seed leaves. And in about 3 weeks, we ought to see something about like that. When you get about like that, what's this? What are we going to do?
Well, you're going to... I don't really...
This is an icing knife that I swiped from Mommy upstairs.
Yep.
She knows I have it too. She's a little upset. But anyway, you're going to dig these seedlings out. You're going to remove as much of the growing mix or whatever from the roots as you can, and then you're going to lay them out in bunches. And when you got a nice full handful, you're going to plant them in a little container like this, or whatever you have handy. You're going to add about halfway full of potting soil. Put your cluster in. Pack it down real good around with the rest of the potting soil. And then we're going to move this, something like this, over here to a tray where it can be bottom watered. And then in a couple weeks, we'll move them outside. We'll harden them off.
And that'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. And then we'll break that open. We'll massage that cluster of onions out. We'll break off the dirt from it, and then we'll peel the onions off the cluster one by one into our rows outside. Got any questions?
Not really.
Okay, well, hey, we better go upstairs, huh?
Yeah.
All right, what do you say?
Bye.
Bye.